So rule number 1 in Conquest, Bart, is you don't fight the bug, right? We know that. You don't fight Arachne, you don't do it. It's not a good idea. Rule number 2, Bart, do you know rule number 2?
Never invade.
Wrong. Invade every single game.
And
that's what we're seeing from the game changers here as they prime themselves to rush. It looks like they're just going to try to steal the blue buff. I don't expect them to try to go for both here, although they might have been able to get a steal. Anatoly's going to see this, but a little bit too late. He takes crush damage, and the Hand of the Gods goes off, and that will be stolen. That's going to be a pretty weak early game here for the game changers. But going into level 2 and level 3, when they're going to get back into their jungle, that's going to be big. But note, the Boosh will go to lane here with a little bit less experience than the best. Not only did he take a smaller amount of experience with the camp at 3 people versus the mid camp with 2 people.
Oh, Divios right side, going to go down first blood. So even with the blue steal, now they give away a first blood, which means that when this Hand of the God comes back up, expect Dignitas to go take the blue buff right back out from underneath them.
And that care. They might go now.
That's not the start you want. No, they're going to go back and they're going to pick up this lane because, you know, the lane experience at this point, it's going to be a little bit more important to force Freya into blowing more cooldowns to stop this push from coming in. But Lass is going to take a nice little bit of damage here. But that Ra heal just so good at this level. And now it's Gar's taking way too much damage. Lass is here. Can he go deep? Oh, the one auto attack. Barely going to miss from Toli there. But now they've shoved this wave into tower all the way. And Team Dignitas already off to a great start.
That could have been like borderline GG with that kill. Because that could have taken away Freya's 400 pot, which would have been a nightmare for him to deal. So we're going to follow
Look at Lassus in the jungle.
Uh-oh.
No. Look at Lassus in the jungle. He's waiting. Divios thinks he can take this blue buff. Once he turns this corner, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to run right into Lassus. Fearless Shade coming through. Anatoly's there. Here comes the damage coming out. One more beam. Should be enough to seal the deal. Indeed it is. Anatoly, a second kill now onto Chalk under his own tower. Now the blue buff can be casually picked up by Dignitas. Gar is going to rotate over and try to say something about it. Uh-oh, Hand of Gods comes out a little early there. Kill for Gar.
Oh, they stole it!
It does steal it. Okay, so some
the
back.
pulse damage from hitting Lassus, just the AoE pulse damage was able to pick that up. So smart play by Gars. But I mean, still, Anatoly's so far ahead right now with that Ra. You see him also starting into Uncommon Sash. More than likely, we're going to see this turn into a Warlock Sash as opposed to something like Rod of Asclepius. And sitting level 4 versus level 3 right now, Divios is in a lot of trouble up against the incredibly farmed already Anatoly.
Yeah, and, you know, I do want to say that it wasn't the Freya picking up that blue buff there is all on Team Dignitas. A little greedy there. Used the Hand of the Gods right away. They could have easily secured that, but you know, feeling themselves a little bit. DM, don't look now, but left side lane, that man is having his way with Snoopy.
Really? I mean, this is very surprising. I mean, Zap, it looks like he's really studied the matchup. Not to mention, Bacchus' early game marginally much worse than Shadow Q's Odin's early game. 140 damage coming out of Lunge on top of the damage and sustain. Not to mention the defense coming out through Gungnir's Might. I mean, Shadow Q is really just working it in his favor and sitting level 5 right now, and Zapman's sitting level 5. They have the potential to keep pushing this, but as the game goes on, there's going to start to teeter back into Snoopy's favor, but there's too much of an experience split here, and both characters on the bottom side
Ultimate from Neath coming out into the ring. In a lot of trouble now is Gar stuck in there with Shadow Q, throwing out the damage, jumping at his last. His Lawbringer over the top is going to be enough. Best was in position as well. Dignitas was just camping that orange speed buff the entire time. Throughout the last 60 seconds they were there. Sets it all up with the double ult out of the duo lane, and now Zapman doing a little reverse farming of his own, sitting at level 5. Snoopy only level 4, and this pulling ahead quickly here is the Neath, and it's this Odin Gungnir's Might into Neath Spirit Arrow combination is just so good at clearing the wave. Zapman with a pin on a Snoopy here could result in a kill. Leaping over the top is Snoopy. They're gonna have Gungnir's Might as well. Gonna need 2 more auto attacks. There they are. Zapman finds a kill on to Ullr, considered the strongest god in the game by many at this point, taken out by one of the oldest there is.
Right there, Odin just diving the tower, using the defense from Gungnir's Might to ensure that he can tank what he needs to tank. And Bacchus at this point in the game, I mean, Bacchus is probably the weakest early game of any of the Guardians. You know, low damage. You can't really confirm the Burt because you don't have enough mana to sustain the Belch. As we get later into the game, there's a great matchup there for Bacchus and Odin. But for right now, Shadow Q is abusing the fact that this matchup is currently massively in his favor. And that's allowing not only Shadow Q to get ahead of the other support, but it's allowing Zapman to get ahead of Ullr. And if you're going to shut Ullr down, it's got to be now.
Yeah, that's right. And they're in the right position at the right time. Now it's going to be Zapman sitting at level 6, nearly level 7. Has a Heartseeker finish, coming back to lane. Only the rank 2 for Snoopy, the Morningstar of speed, so hasn't been able to complete his as well. And it seems like we've done nothing but talk about the duo and solo lane so far. Mid lane has been pretty much a wasp. Best has been doing a lot of rotation to pressure the jungle, but still has maintained a level advantage over the Boosh. And you can see why Poseidon was banned out against Scylla so much earlier on in this tournament. All of his MS makes it so that he can really easily avoid Crush. Right, he sees the Crush come out and just kind of runs through it. Shadow Q over the top on a Snoopy Man. Here comes the Gungir's Might. He's going to ring him as well. No, not just yet, but they're going to push this wave in. And don't be surprised to see the Zapple coming out because he does. Yeah, this is a kill. Snoopy Man,
doesn't even need it.
Say no more, sir. Down he goes. The auto attack from Shadow Q. Zapman forced to charge it up under tower, but once again, such a good player. Realizes that he could get the kill by charging it longer, but would have definitely died to the tower there. Take a look at mid lane, though, as Lassus is Lawbringered over the top, forcing Gars out. And Gars, level 5, so far off pace out of the jungle as Freya. Not good news.
This is not normal to see Gars. It's not normal to see Gars behind, period. But to see Gars that low comparatively to Lassus, this is unprecedented.
Oh! Best, please. Best baits out
to the base.
He baits out the Valkyrie's discretion there, tanks it, and drops a Kraken. Unbelievable. What a play. What a player there. I mean, just knows exactly what he needs to do, realizes that it's just really not that big of a deal. Valkyrie's discretion not going to put out too much, and it was, Gars forced to try to make a play because the threat of the Kraken was just too big. He got hit by the Whirlpool and had to immediately ult, and then just died when he fell down. Or at least the Quacken.
So Shadow Q there, he starts doing his attack chain, and this is something that's very important for the min-maxers out there. As Odin starts doing his attack chain before the camp spawns, this ensures that right as the camp spawns, he hits with the hardest hit in the lineup, which is going to be the 4th hit for Odin, and then right back into his attack chain, meaning he's going to start with 50% extra damage on his auto attacks, and that's incredible overall min-max play coming out from Shadow Q. And it's those little things that's going to save you 1 or 2 seconds every time. Because if you save 1 or 2 seconds, 30 or 40 times throughout the game, it's going to put you, 2 minutes ahead.
Yeah, that's right. I think my favorite min-max is the Loki decoy coming out before the camp spawn, because then you get the damage and it doesn't aggro to you. But yeah, the hit chaining, I mean, especially with gods like Thanatos and soon to be Osiris and Naja that have AoE hits at the end of their chain, to open up on a camp with those
that's
in the
so
early
big.
part of the game, I mean, that will guarantee you the automatic chain into Hand of the Gods to secure camps. I mean, it tends to be a much bigger play than expected. Shadow Q dodging a axe from Snoopy. Snoopy has no axe now. Gonna get Gungir's Might out, forced out of this fight. Boosh gonna try for a Sikkim. Not gonna find it. Belly flop from Ionic is good though, but now Shadow Q gonna re-engage. Ionic body block. Neath ultimate coming through. Shadow Q is such an unbelievable player. Now gonna ring in Snoopy, gonna force out a leap here. I'm a monster from Scylla, and left or right out by Shadow Q. Baiting out ultimates left and right is the Odin. And this is a lot of the reason why Zapman is such an effective player, because of the support he gets from Shadow Q.
Dignitas is actually making the Game Changers look like a new team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not something I think anyone expected. I mean, a lot of the teams, talking to some of the high-level guys out there, they've been saying, like, teams to worry about. 5 Angry Men. Lost in round 3, I think, round 2. Game Changers. Right now, 0-7 to Dignitas. We look at the board here, at the tournament, and we're seeing Team Dignitas, we're seeing COG, and we're seeing Snipe all in the top 4 right now, pushing forward, whereas the Game Changers, while they're in the top 4 currently, are being kind of shown as a top 16 team, and we know that that's not their potential. These guys are amazing, amazing, brilliant players, but overall, they just can't seem to compete with this fired-up Dignitas.
Yeah, it's even hard to I directly identify what went wrong here, besides kind of the obvious that the solo lane got kind of wrecked in the early game, and it's just set off a chain of events that have been really, really difficult for Game Changers to deal with. Freya under farm, no real kill potential, no real damage potential or threat coming into the dual lane, allowing for Neath that very aggressive positioning. Odin can basically completely control the western hemisphere of this map because of how dominant the solo lane Ra is going to be over the Chalk now with the early advantage. And Ra and Anatoly consistently putting pressure on this right side lane, forcing the Freya to rotate over at least a little bit to soak XP and give Chalk time to go back. And all those things together, plus the global ultimate from Neath, has meant that there's been a lot of opportunities for Kraken and Odin Ring. Checking the mid lane here. Lassus now has doped the tower, in some trouble. I'm a monster, gonna miss as Lassus flew. Fearless is out of the way, but nice play by Boosh there to force Lassus out from a gank attempt. Now Shadow Q caught out a bit by the Gold Fury, but he'll run away A-OK as well for now, as Dignitas continues to spread the map out and just keep Game Changers from being able to get a solid footing.
I really like the Sun Wukong ban here. He's a character I think is currently top 5 in the meta. But Shadow Q's in some trouble here Oh, there goes the ultimate, and Snoopy goes down again. There's just no stopping the Dignitas rotations, and this is a brand new best that we're seeing in this tournament.
Yeah, so much rotation, so much movement. I mean, Best, generally speaking, known for a player that likes to sit in the mid lane and punish people trying to rotate into his lane. Now has been doing a very good job with this Poseidon, a god we don't even see him play very often. Tends to go for more the Alquang or the Agni style. Playing this Poseidon and rotating a lot, especially over to the orange buff side here, right around this kind of left side mid camp, the gold or the orange buff and gold fury area, has done a lot of his time sitting right there and controlling that space and making sure that there's no easy jungle for Freya to take.
0 to 8 right now, 5,200 gold, 9,700 experience. Dignitas has them completely shut down. Right now, Gars is lowest level in the game at level 8. And, you know, I mean, Freya's one of the time bomb characters. Eventually, she's going to do damage regardless of how badly she did in the beginning. But at the same time, right now, she doesn't add anything to the team fight. She doesn't do enough damage. We're getting the best coming in there. Looks like Ionic a little bit late to the party. I'm a Monster Goes F only hitting the tank Shadow Q and not nearly doing enough as that man finds himself able to hit out. Best perfect Whirlpool forces Snoopy to use his Aegis there, but he still goes down as Lassus finds it, and poor Shadow Q trying to jump around here is going to find himself in a bad spot in just a sec, or a great spot rather, in just a second as Lassus rotates in. Blink coming and kills with Gungnir's. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, poor Shadow Q, you say, but at the end of the day, the issue here is that Shadow Q isn't poor. Shadow Q sitting at level 12. 6,500 gold farm. He's on pace with he's beating Zapman. He's beating Best in gold farm. And he's 1,000, almost 2,000 gold ahead of the enemy support and 1,000 gold ahead of the enemy mid and solo laner. Midas boots and rotations.
He's the first one to build Watchers today. I mean, we've seen Death Toll come out from every top team.
That's right. Watcher's Gift into Midas boots for both Ionic and Shadow Q on the slightly more Guardian skewed Bacchus the True Guardian Odin. A little bit more of the Guardian style than the kind of the current Bruisers. Doesn't really have the CC or burst heal that normally characterizes a Bruiser in Smite right now. And so both of them going the Watcher's Gift into Midas boots, and now a Sovereignty nearly done from Shadow Q. I mean, and you saw in that fight, I'm a Monster coming out onto the level 12 Shadow Q versus the level 12 Scylla was like, it scratched him. It did about 350 damage. Odin just so resilient and
that's the
really
power of
strong.
I mean, he's getting passive protections there. He gets passive protections from Ring of Spears. He's working on the Sovereignty, or what I assume is the Sovereignty now. 200 health, 40 physical protection. And with the Midas boots taking, he's almost there. He's only 200 gold away from getting that finished. And once that's done, I can't expect that we're going to see him ever go below half health.
11-0 in favor of Team Dignitas. And DM, it's going to be a tall task for Game Changers to get back into this. They're still maybe 10 minutes away from Freya really being a damage threat. She still has not finished a demonic grip. I mean, pen boots are just now done 13 minutes into the game.
She didn't even get it halfway.
Yeah, I mean, sitting at only 250 gold per minute. When you look over at the lowest farm on Team Dignitas for Zapman and the Best at 385, and you're sitting at 250 as the jungler for the Game Changers, as a core jungler in Freya. This isn't an Athena jungle or some kind of control jungler, right? This is a core damage dealer. And Zapman playing so aggressive against Snoopy ultimate, charging it up, bam, down he goes, Shadow Q. Leaps in, Gungnir's Might, auto attack, down he goes, and you know what? Best was there for insurance as well as
It doesn't
Lassus.
even look like a team fight, Bart. It looks like they're doing a demonstration.
Ionic now called out into Kraken, into Whirlpool, Fearless
God.
Shame. And down you go. I mean, the placement there was just so nice.
I have
from
harder
Best.
time setting up these kills when I'm trying to show the chat with people what this looks like if I'm comboing bots.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's
This is textbook. It's perfect. They are playing perfectly.
13-0, 14 minutes in. I mean, this is one of the more dominant performances you're going to see. I mean, literally everything is firing on all cylinders here for Team Dignitas. You have lots and lots of assists. I mean, look at this. 6 assists on Shadow Q, 5 on Best, 5 on Zapman. Everyone's getting involved. Anatoly farming like a monster in the solo lane. 1-0-1. Already has the tower down. His tower isn't even scratched at this point. No tower scratch for Team Dignitas. Full jungle control of both sides of the map. And they are just wrecking. And look at this. Lassus has gone for super early Jotun's Wrath here on to the tier to just continue these initiations, have the cooldowns available. Best building up damage items. You have Zapman in his core build finish. Shadow Q has his core build finish. Lassus is going to tank up a bit with Round Shield, likely to become Shifters.
Yeah.
And Anatoly has Warlock Sash done, which means he's not dying anytime soon either, especially if he goes into something like a Hide of the Urchin. But honestly, they're so far ahead, he could go straight damage items or even that Chronos Pendant we've seen a couple times today.
I would really like to see a Void Stone, to be honest. Give himself a little bit of protection from Boosh, a little bit of protection from Garz and Ionic as well. Not to mention penetration would be huge here, and then some extra damage. I mean, that would really put him even farther ahead, and it would shut down a lot of their damage potential. But at this point, like you said, Anatoly can build basically whatever he wants, sitting level 16 right now with top farm in the game. No one's going to be able to scratch him.
And what's really dangerous here, DM, is when Shadowq gets about another 2,000 gold and all of a sudden the chin sides come out on top of his sovereignty.
Yes,
and he transitions from his 4-0 and 6 support at level 15, tied for second highest in the game, to hard carry Odin because he's just so far ahead, and he's going to be able to just pick gods and kill them but don't have escapes inside the ring once he gets any damage item. And if God help him, he goes another tank item, he's going to be able to cylinder tower for about 20 seconds. The towers just haven't scaled at this point. And with all the physical power he's getting from his Odin Shout right now, he can just really, really crush anybody. And look at this. It's going to be a 4-man engage. 4 versus 3 over the left side, tier rotating in. Freya going to make it a 5-4 when she gets here. Kraken's going to hit 2. Over the top comes Lassus. Down will go Ionic in just a moment here. Auto attacks coming through. Scylla trying to do what damage she can, but it's just not enough. And in the meantime, Anatoly's going to be pushing in the mid lane here. Shadowq under tower, perfectly happy to tank this up. Leaping out of the ring, keeping the game changers there. Snoopy no longer
my
down
God,
he goes.
Zap Man!
Fear the zap as the tower's going to fall as well. I'm a monster, or I'm sorry, there's a crush coming through doing
I'm a monster!
nice damage. Best says, that's why I bought this thing for 300 gold that counters your ultimate. And, he made it look so easy, and it's like, I'm a monster is an easier spell to land than the Kraken, and Best just going to go ahead and ages that one out. Gold Fury now exposed. 45,000 gold to 32,000 gold. Team Dignitas, 13,000 gold, 20,000 experience. Now a Gold Fury as well, up on the Game Changers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a round.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I want to point out, like, we were casting the last game, so I didn't see it front to back, but it's been told to me that the Game Changers beat D2F in 13 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And D2F has beaten Dignitas.
Yes.
So to see them get kind of slammed, and then TCG do this well against Dig, in terms of, maybe I should say this well versus getting kind of demolished so far. I mean, never count them out. We've seen, again, bigger throws have happened. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
They have, in tournament even, but I don't think we're going to see that today.